Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a little girl named Lily. She lived in a small village at the edge of a dense forest, and she loved to spend her days exploring the woods and playing with the animals that lived there. One day, as she was wandering deeper into the forest than she had ever gone before, Lily came across a clearing that she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a beautiful old oak tree, and beneath the tree, there was a basket filled with the most delicious-looking apples she had ever seen. Lily couldn't resist the temptation and took an apple from the basket. As soon as she bit into the apple, she felt herself growing smaller and smaller until she was no bigger than a mouse. She looked around, and everything in the forest looked enormous. As she was wandering through the underbrush, Lily stumbled upon a tiny door at the base of a tree. She crawled through the door and found herself in a room filled with miniature furniture and a cozy fireplace. She looked around in amazement and realized that she had entered a fairy's house. The fairy who lived in the house was delighted to meet Lily and invited her to stay for tea. The fairy served Lily delicious treats and told her stories about the magical forest. As they talked, Lily learned that the fairy's house was only visible to those who had eaten the enchanted apples. After spending a wonderful afternoon with the fairy, Lily began to feel a bit homesick. The fairy took pity on her and offered to turn her back into her normal size. Lily was overjoyed and thanked the fairy before making her way back home. From that day forward, Lily never forgot the magical experience she had in the forest. She visited the oak tree often but never again dared to take an apple. She knew that she would always remember the day she met the fairy and learned about the enchantment of the forest. And next awesome story. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a kind and curious girl named Rose. Rose was always eager to learn new things and explore the world around her. She spent her days reading books and asking questions, much to the amusement of her family and friends. One day, while wandering in the woods, Rose stumbled upon a small cottage hidden behind a thicket of bushes. She pushed her way through the foliage and found herself standing before a tiny house with a door that was no taller than her knee. As she peered through the window, she saw a little old woman sitting by the fireplace, knitting a scarf. The woman noticed Rose and beckoned her inside. The woman introduced herself as the fairy godmother and invited Rose to sit down for tea. She then explained that she had been watching Rose for some time and was impressed by her curiosity and thirst for knowledge. The fairy godmother offered to take Rose on a journey to explore the world and learn about its wonders. She gave Rose a pair of magic boots that would take her anywhere she wanted to go, as long as she kept an open mind and a willing heart. Rose was thrilled at the prospect of seeing the world and eagerly put on the boots. In an instant, she was transported to a vast desert, where she marveled at the sand dunes and the vast expanse of sky. She then visited a bustling city, where she met people from all walks of life and learned about different cultures and traditions. As she traveled from one place to another, Rose learned many valuable lessons and made new friends along the way. She discovered that the world was full of wonder and beauty, but also saw the struggles and hardships that people faced every day. After many weeks of travel, Rose returned home, filled with new knowledge and experiences. She knew that she had been changed forever by her journey and that she would never be the same again. From that day forward, Rose used her newfound knowledge and experiences to help others and make a difference in the world. And she knew that she owed it all to her friend, the fairy godmother, who had opened her eyes to the wonders of the world. And next cool story. Once upon a time, in a kingdom ruled by a cruel queen, there lived a young girl named Belle. Belle was kind and gentle, but she lived in constant fear of the queen, who had outlawed all forms of magic and punished anyone caught practicing it. One day, as Belle was wandering in the woods, she stumbled upon a small clearing where a group of fairies were gathered, practicing their magic. Belle was fascinated by what she saw and decided to watch from a distance. But the fairies noticed her and, realizing she posed no threat, welcomed her into their circle. They taught her the secrets of magic, showing her how to cast spells and create potions. Belle spent many happy hours with the fairies, learning and practicing magic. But one day, the queen's soldiers caught her in the woods and arrested her for practicing magic, a crime punishable by death. Belle was brought before the queen, who demanded that she renounce her magic and swear never to practice it again. Belle refused, knowing that magic was a part of who she was and that she could never give it up. The queen was furious and ordered Belle to be thrown into the dungeons, where she would await her execution. But the fairies, who had been watching from a distance, refused to let Belle die. They gathered their magic and, with a flick of their wands, broke Belle out of her cell and whisked her away to safety. Belle was overjoyed to be free and grateful to the fairies for saving her life. Together, Belle and the fairies decided to fight back against the queen's tyranny. They used their magic to create illusions and trick the soldiers, freeing others who had been imprisoned for practicing magic. In the end, the queen was defeated, and magic was once again welcomed in the kingdom. Belle was hailed as a hero for her bravery and her willingness to stand up for what she believed in. And as for the fairies, they remained Belle's loyal friends and protectors, watching over her and guiding her through the world of magic.